Make sure before we get into today's video, remember to leave a like and subscribe before we get into all this Assassin's Creed Origins news, and let's get right into it. So the first one for today is that Ashford Ismail, from head director at Assassin's Creed, was interviewed at E3 by Shack News, and they asked him if they were sticking towards the lore or were they redoing the lore. When it come towards the lore, they actually stuck to it because of the stuff that we knew from like previous Assassins from the lore in Assassin's Creed 1 and 2. Because there is Assassins set before Bayek's time, and they have decided they're going to stick to lore, and there's going to be hints towards them. The other things with lore in there is also they're going to say why things happen, such as when you lose a finger, when you get the hidden blade ritual, and some other rituals within the Assassin's Creed universe. So have a look a little at this interview right here, and this shows what Ashford said.
For sure, on the lore side, we're sticking to the lore. That is, we hold sacred, you know, to the lore. It's one thing that people ask us, if this is the birth of the Brotherhood, what about the assassins before this time, like Darius and Eltani? And we know they're there. This holds true to it. We actually even play with that a little bit. The story here is that it's the Brotherhood that we know from AC1 in terms of their tenets, their symbology, their rituals. You know, the cut finger ritual, for example. What is the story behind that? Did one guy just decide to cut his finger off? It's a little bit more involved than that. So we play with that for sure. So the lore we held sacred too.
This interview also had some other stuff coming in, such as the different types of weapons that will be in the game. So in the game there will be normal swords, heavy weapons, maces, axes, and even dual wield swords. So you can dual the Kapeshes. I God, I said that right for a change. Dual Kapeshes are basically the curved sword you get within Assassin's Creed Origins. This is a typical sword that was used during ancient Egypt at the time, and this is probably why they're bringing dual wield back, because dual wield was pretty common back in ancient Egyptian times. So have a look at the little interview, the same interview, but this is on the different weapon types that is going to be in Assassin's Creed Origins.
And so this allowed us to give true value, gameplay value, to spears, to the Khopesh sword, to big maces and double-handed axes and dual swords. So we have a plethora of weapon types. Many bow types as well, because bows were really important at this time. Yes. We wanted to make sure that the shooter mechanic of the game was really powerful if you want to play that ranger playstyle. So we've gone deep on weapons. So yes, Egypt has offered us some really cool opportunities to push the combat elements.
So the final thing from this interview is that taken was that the locations in the world, there is going to be multiple cities throughout the world. There's going to be little villages now and there, and there's going to be, from what they've stated so far, there's only two main cities that we know so far. There's going to be the Alexandria city, so the city that's really popular. It'll have like all the rich stuff within, like all like rich, and you get like all the big statues and stuff and big tall buildings. It's a classic city within ancient Egypt history. And also Memphis, the ancient city of Memphis. It's a slightly gone down city, but it is a pretty popular city, and it was well known during ancient Egyptian times. I'm going to let Ashford Ismail explain this within the interview.
So in terms of the world, we have a couple major cities. So there's Alexandria, there's Memphis, the ancient city of Memphis. They have their own vibe.
Not the modern
flavor.
City of Memphis or anything.
No, we have, and we have actually, there's many cities in the game and many villages. And so temples were huge. Memphis is organic and wild, and it's a much older city, and so you have these giant monuments, like these bigger than life monuments that people can climb and run around on. Alexandria is much more metropolitan. It's much more organized. You know, you have the Great Library of Alexandria, the Pharos, the lighthouse. So these cities have their own flavor. And so, for example, being on rooftops in Memphis, that was the intention, because the height variation is very organic. So you have one floor buildings that go to 2, then 3, then massive temples. Whereas Alexandria, the buildings are taller. So here you're naturally, let's say, running more in the streets. Of course, we have free run paths that get you up there. And then you have villages. We have tons of villages. And again, we play with...
So now we're moving our way over to the Twitter, where Ashford Ismail again was answering more questions on Twitter. And this got tweeted, hey, you say that the game is not a reboot. Will it explain how there exist assassins before Bayek if he creates the order? And Asheville is my reply, where free will versus order has existed throughout time. While talking about the origin of the Brotherhood we see in AC1. So this is basically Asheville Ismail confirming that it's just going to be based on Bear Canal, the bear for the Brotherhood, and how it was created, and how we see the Brotherhood within Assassin's Creed 1, the original Assassin's Creed. This Assassin's Creed is basically just, it sets everything up for the first game. That's why they're doing it, so we know how it's made and why it exists. So the next question on Twitter came for asking about Assassin that came before. The tweet said, in Assassin's Creed 2 Sanctuary we saw some assassins from ancient times, way before 60 BCE. At that time too, are them uncanon now? What they're saying is the statues in the gate you see within Assassin's Creed 2's Sanctuary within Monte Journan. They're asking if they're not canon, well, means they're not related to the story. And Asheville Linsville simply replied, they are canon. They're always going to be canon. They're just assassins before the Order was even born, so they're just probably assassins doing out their own will. So that's probably why that they're in the Sanctuary, and this is why they're not related to the origin of the Order, because they probably existed before the Order and they just did it out their own will and for their own right. So the next one from Twitter came asking about the day and night cycle. Is asking if in Assassin's Creed Origins would the NPCs or the people or the AI, as everyone knows them, will they have a day and night cycle? And Asheville Ismail replied yes, and it has a big impact on the NPCs of the world. So basically, what's going to happen when you're playing Assassin's Creed Origins, if you're playing during the day, the NPCs or the AI will be doing something during the day and they'll be doing something different during the night. So this makes it change, so if you want to do a mission at night, there's going to be like less NPCs around probably, and there's going to be probably them mostly all tired or asleep or something stupid like that. And that's why that's going to be it makes the game more realistic within like the world sense, if you get what I'm understanding there, because they want to be more realistic within the games nowadays. So the last thing from the quick answer search that Asheville Ismail was doing on Twitter is, someone asked, will there be a physical copy available for the PC version of Assassin's Creed Origins? Asheville Ismail just upright and said yes. So from previous games, from like previous PC games, you mostly get them digitally now, but you can refund them. But now you can buy a physical version of Assassin's Creed Origins. I think Unity has been a digital one, and so our Syndicate, so we physically can buy a physical version of the game. So we get it up first in person and not just download it and take forever. Plus, physical discs take quicker to install than actually download it on the day of release. So I'd like to thank you all for watching this news video on Assassin's Creed Origins news. Please tell me down below what you think of this video. Remember to leave a like and subscribe, because it really appreciates and helps me a lot. And I know it was a long one, just thank you for watching this. It all appreciates me very much, and thank you for the great support recently. I really appreciate it. And as always guys, see you in another one. Bye bye.